Hey, thank y'all so much for coming in. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. Y'all are trying to make me cry tonight, and I am not going to do that with y'all. I hope y'all can hear me. I'm so excited. Tonight is the official launch of my book, The Life of an Overcomer, both the book and the journal. Hey, Miss Jacqueline. Thank you for coming. And so I am so excited. It has been 6 years in the making, y'all, and I am so happy to have this. Like, let me tell y'all something. I feel I woke up this morning with a worship in my spirit. And let me tell you something. This has been a week. And the crazy thing is thank God for people who get me together and help me see what's really going on, because this week was some intense warfare and I was like, Lord, what is going on? What is wrong with me? I could not figure out. I know I just jumped right in, but that's what I do. No preamble, just jump in. And I was like, Lord, what is wrong with me? I was weeping. I was waking up in the middle of the night crying, and I was like, okay, forget it. We're not releasing this book. This is enough. And I'm just like, and then it hit me. This is warfare. The enemy doesn't want you to get this book out. And I was like, what am I in warfare about? I haven't done anything. And so I had one of my friends had to point out to me, is like, are you kidding me? Like, are you really kidding me right now? I said, seriously, it doesn't even cross my mind. So, but thank God for friends who get me together. Thank God for friends who pray for me. Thank God for friends who love me. That's what this is all about. Let me tell y'all about the book. Let me jump right in. Thank y'all all so much again for coming in. I'm so excited. I'm just so excited what God has done. As I said, exactly. As I said, I'm going to tell you all a little bit about the book, but I woke up this morning in a worship, and let me tell you what God has been speaking to me. Hey, Miss Ann, what God has been speaking to me throughout the day, and what He's just been talking to me about is just the release and the freedom of it all, and the no more holding on to history, but it's like now I can release that. I was talking to my niece earlier, and I was telling her that one of the things that I love about scripture as an author is that the Bible says that God is the author and the finisher of our faith. So I told her when people write a movie or a book, they're writing it for an intended audience. They either want to entertain them, or they want to get a message across, or they whatever their purpose is, they're writing this for an intended purpose. And so, as God has written my book and I'm walking it out, yes, I'm the star player, but I'm often reminded that it's not about me. Yes, it's my journey, but it's not about me. That there is somebody paying attention to my life, somebody that is watching my life unfold, and they see where God has brought me from, and they know my testimony, and they know what God has done. And it's like, wow. I get the message. I get it. Like, okay, if she can make it, then I can too. And and as I thought about that, I really began to feel uh, a blessing and a freedom. It's like God really wrote my story. Like He sat down and He took time to write my story. And yes, there was some tragedy, and yes, there was some trauma, and yes, there was some trials. But at the end of the day, I'm His, and my story has a happy ending, and I'm excited about that. And this is one of those moments where it's so clear to me that purpose is real. Hey, Gabriel, love you. Um, is so apparent to me that purpose is real, and that when God puts you here on purpose for purpose, like there's two plans. I talk about this in the book. There's two plans for your life. There's God's plan and the devil's plan. And it's up to us really to decide which plan we're going to follow. And yes, the enemy works overtime, but we're not here to glorify the enemy. What we're here to do is we're here to talk about the victory. So let me tell you a little bit about the life of an overcomer. The life of an overcomer is not only a book, it's a journey. We're all living the life of an overcomer. If you are here today and you are watching this, which you are, then that means thank you, Dr. Ray. If you are here and you are on this live with me and you are walking this earth, you have overcome everything and survived everything that life has thrown at you, every adversity, every setback, and every enemy. And here's the thing about enemies. I didn't plan to go here, but people, always talk about we got enemies and haters and all of this kind of stuff. I've never had a hater in my life that could hinder me from anything that God told me to do. The hater that I've always known and seen is the one that I saw in the mirror. And so God had to teach me. One of the things as I went through my journey to overcoming and my journey, hey Sonia, my journey to overcoming and my journey to healing is one of the things that God reminded me is his word says that no weapon formed against you shall prosper, and every tongue that shall rise up against you, I shall condemn. Guess what? He does that even when it's you. Even when it's you are your enemy. He said, no weapon formed against me. I was the enemy formed against myself. Hey, Renee, I was the enemy formed against myself. And God did not allow me to prosper. Okay, I'm jumping ahead of myself because I'm so excited. Listen, okay, so the life of the overcomer, it is a story. It's about my journey overcoming mental illness as a result of a traumatic childhood and a traumatic history, sexual abuse, physical abuse, all that. The book is focusing on not so much of what happened to me, but my journey of how it shaped me. When you experience certain types of abuses at a young age and certain traumas, it literally changes your mindset and it literally changes your vision. Doctors say that trauma changes your DNA, like literally the way your body responds and the way your body makes up. And so this story is telling about the result of how I responded. Um, to the trauma and how I lived my life based on fear and based on shame and based on condemnation and based on low self-esteem and low self-worth, because there was a time where I could not figure out um, I needed to figure out who was at fault. I needed to figure out who was to blame. And so at the end of the day, I had to tell myself, this is how I was thinking. I had to tell myself, I'm the common denominator in all of this. So then there's something wrong with me. Hence became the suicide attempts. Hence became the cutting. Hence became the sleeping around with random men. Hence became having three babies out of wedlock with three different men. Hence me sleeping with men. I didn't even know their names, who they were the next morning. So I didn't mean to go there. Oops. Anyway, I'm there now. So I tell this and I do my best to tell the story in a way that and my goal is always at the end of the day to help people, because yes, I'm a Christian. Yes, I love God. Yes, I pray and prophesy and sometimes preach when I feel it. But listen, there's a real testimony. It's gone are the days where we give the watered down testimony as well. I got saved and I'm good and I'm living on top of the world. That's just not my story. That's just not my story. I got saved. I started speaking in tongues. I believe I was 15, and yeah, and I didn't stop living a promiscuous lifestyle until I was about 35. And I had no idea that all of that was rooted in trauma. I had no idea that the way I responded to people and relationships and the way I even responded to my children. Hey, Tammy, the way that I responded to, hey, Margot, the way that I responded to different spaces and things and situations that it was all rooted in trauma. And so my motto and the thing that I tell people all the time is you need Christ, you need community, and you need counseling. Hey, Miss Jackie, how you doing? I love you. Um, you need Christ, you need community, you need counseling. You need those things. You need Jesus. And I'm very adamant about those three things. Dr. Zoe always talks about a threefold cord, the power of three. Well, those are my three: Christ, community, and counseling. Because there was a time where I couldn't figure out, I could not put together that you could have counseling and that you could have Jesus and counseling. I thought to take my meds, yes, I was on meds, to take my meds and go to therapy meant that I didn't trust God. So it took me some time to get to that point where I knew that those two things go together. Like you can have Jesus and you can pray and you can know God and you can preach and you can pray and you can prophesy and you can love people and still need counseling. And that's okay. Praise God. So, and you need your community. And listen, anybody on here that knows me knows that that has been a journey. Learning how to receive love and give love, learning to accept your community, learning how to accept people in your life that will say, hey, you going that way again, come on back, reel yourself in. And yeah, get mad. But like my mom, I forgot, the older people used to say this long ago: the same clothes you got mad in, you'll get glad in them. So get over it. Because at the end of the day, if somebody has to check me and say, hey, you going off to the left again, bring that on back, I may get mad in a moment. Hey, let's be honest. Sometimes the truth hurts and you get mad. But guess what? At the end of the day, when I sit down with myself, I'll be like, yep, you know what? They were right. I need to get myself together. What's going on? What was my thought process? Why was I going that way? And so that's what the book is about. It's about my journey to being to overcoming the traumas and the adversities that I have been through, and the things that I have that the enemy threw at me for that meant for my bad, but God is turning it around for my good. Because I believe that the next person that God allows me to share my testimony with, the next person that may read my book, I've been in counseling and have been in this struggle since 2002, and it's 2021. So my prayer is, when the next person that reads this book or hears this testimony, they can come out in exponentially a less or time than this. Maybe in 1 month or 1 year. Now, don't hear me saying that there's a quick fix to healing and that there's a quick fix to wholeness, because there's not. But there's a journey, but there is a way that God can heal you and get you to a place where at least you're not cutting. At least you're not self-sabotaging your healing. At least you're not practicing self-harming behaviors. And cutting is not the only self-harming behavior, but I'm not going to go too far down that road. There are many things that we do that are self-harming. Um, let me name a few. I mentioned one of them: sleeping around with random men. Not making a plan for your future is a self-harming behavior. Not being intentional about your goals and your vision and walking out the plan of God for your life. That's a self-harming behavior, because anything outside of the will of God is not beneficial to you. So it's self-harming. I know that hit me too. I didn't even plan to say that. Sorry. But there it is. I love y'all still. So yeah, I know I'm saying a lot. I'm so excited because I feel freedom in my soul, y'all. It has been a long time coming. Let me tell you something. As I have written this book, and I didn't write a script for this, so I'm just going off the cuff of what God has just reminded me, and I'm just here. I'm just telling about God's goodness. Last weekend at the Be Confident Out Loud conference, we spent a good hour or two talking about a miracle and how God worked a miracle. Well, you looking at one right now. And so I just want to stop and say that, because you're looking at a miracle. And so um, God is just, He's so good, and He's so patient, and He's so kind, and He's so loving. And so my whole goal is just to let people know that no matter what you're doing, hey Robbie, no matter what's going on, no matter what has happened, no matter what you've done to sabotage your goals, no matter what you've done, that there's always time to get back on course. There's always time to get back on track. There's always time to change your trajectory. There's always time to change your mindset. And listen, here's the thing about changing your mindset. It takes work. You can't spend 25 years. Thank you, Dr. Z. Y'all trying to make me cry for real. You can't spend 25 years thinking a negative thought and then expect for it to go away. You're going to have to work at that. You're going to have to put a plan in place to remind yourself. So you have to keep reminding yourself that I'm worthy of love. You have to keep reminding yourself that I'm beautiful. You have to keep reminding yourself I am God's child. I'm God's daughter. I'm God's son. You have to keep reminding yourself that God has a purpose and a plan for me and I'm not worthless. You have to keep reminding yourself that because every time you make a step towards God's will for your life and towards your purpose, trust me, the enemy is right there. But what does the word say? We all know the word. Greater is he that is within me than he that is in the world. So he's already in me and he's already working through me. But it's up to me to continue to feed that. It's up to me. He's not going to force himself on me. He's not going to force himself and make me do his will. He's going to offer it to me and he's going to give me the path for it. It's up to me to follow that path. Okay, so let me breathe because I'm so excited and I'm just so grateful. I'm going to read a clip from the book. So, as I was thinking about what I would share tonight, God told me to read the section on shame. And so that's how we're going to do this tonight. I'm going to talk about that. And this is very important to me because one of the things when you go through trauma, sexual abuse in particular, because that's what I know. Physical abuse, all of it. When you go through abuse as a child, there's a part of you. Well, let me speak for me. There's a part of me that always thought that I needed shame. This is my definition of shame. Let me stop and say this. This is my definition of shame. It's a feeling that you have that uh, from the belief that you have something to be ashamed of. And that thing that I was ashamed of was just me, of my history, of my past. Because, like I said before, in my mind, the common denominator is me. And so I did something to warrant the things that happened to me. And so I want to talk tonight. I'm going to read part of this chapter. I think I'm going to read this about shame, and then I'm going to talk about that. Thank you, Robbie. Thank you, Tammy. So this is what I have as a part of this. Besides shame, guilt, and condemnation came fear, anxiety, and regret that has once kept me from overcoming my past. They were consistent in coaching me in the bondage I was in. No wonder I was stuck. Every time I would make a positive move, shame reminded me of why I did not deserve something better. It caused me to speak negative things about myself, and it caused me to disrespect myself, all in the name of keeping it real. Shame is a roadblock, blocking your way to positive thoughts and the future God promised, reminding us of what we do not deserve. Shame tells you that you are a failure and a mistake. It will never tell you that though you have failed or made a mistake, that is not who you are. Shame will secretly acknowledge your progress, but it will distort your vision where you can't actually see it and acknowledge it for yourself. It's like a leash. It says, I'll let you accomplish a few things, but there's only so much I'm going to let you do. But I have to often remind myself that shame is a liar. God does not come with a leash. God is freedom and God is love. Any limits that we may feel that comes with serving God are for our benefit, but it is never to keep us from soaring. There is so much more to us and for us. But shame will not allow you to get it. When shame is your driver, you will hit a dead end every time. But with God as your driver, the possibilities are endless. And your riding companions are joy, peace, boldness, and confidence. Yes. So, and then there is no room in our lives for shame. None. Because Jesus went to the cross for that. When they beat him, when they stuck him in his side, when they put those crown of thorns on his head, he took all of that so that we wouldn't have to live in shame. So he has equipped me and given me everything I needed to be confident in him and who he called me to be. Life has made me believe that I needed to be ashamed, ashamed of my mistakes, ashamed of my past, ashamed of my failures, but not anymore. I admit that I was once ashamed of myself. I had become my own abuser. See, I had left the abuse. I had grown up and grown up away from that. And then I turned around and became my own abuser. And I was ashamed of that as well. I was ashamed for cutting myself, ashamed for living the lifestyle that I lived. But I made a choice that I will no longer wear shame anymore. I will no longer get up and put that on as a part of my dress, as a part of my attire. That would no longer be a part of my makeup. When I put my clothes on, none of them have shame on them. When I put my attitude on and my essence on, it has no shame on it because I am no longer living in shame. And I want you to take that on too. Whatever the enemy is trying to remind you of your past, whatever past mistakes or failures or whatever it was that you didn't do right, you didn't do this right, you didn't do that right, whatever it was, we have to drop it because that's already covered under the blood. And it took me a long time to learn that I didn't have to crucify myself for the life that I had led. Jesus already went to the cross. I didn't need to climb up there. He had already done that for me. And so that's what I wanted to share tonight. That's what God had me to really focus in on for this particular party, because this is a party of no more shame. We are not no longer walking in shame, and we are ready to soar. We are ready to walk in our God-given purpose. We are ready to share the gospel of Jesus Christ. We're ready to share our testimony without shame. See, when we drop that shame, then I don't have a problem sharing my testimony now. I don't have a problem letting someone see my arms where the lines, some of the lines still are. I don't have a problem telling someone that I was once promiscuous. I don't have any problems telling anybody that even as a mother, and I talk about this in the book, and was the hardest part of the book, even as a mother, that I failed as a mother. And people don't like for me to say that, but you have to tell the truth and shame the devil, because I was not a good mother, because I based my decisions off of fear. I was so fearful of my children getting hurt, and I was so fearful of the outside world, and so fearful, here, catch this, that my kids would turn out being like me, that I raised them during the time that I had them with an iron fist. And so I was not a good mother at that time. But I had no tools. I didn't know. I didn't know that I had the power within me as a Holy Ghost filled believer. I didn't know that I had the power within me to break that curse out of my life. I did not know that there was another way. I did not know that all I needed to do was submit and surrender under the hand of God so that He could heal my heart and heal my mind. I didn't have language then. But to go on and to beat myself up about it and to feel shame about it is not the life God has called me to live. What He's calling me to do is take responsibility for my life, A smart man said it recently. It may not be your fault, but it's your responsibility. And I take full responsibility for my healing. Even now, I have people in my life who check me. Hey, you're going off to the left. Why are you self-sabotaging? Why are you going against what God is telling you to do? You need people like that in your life to help keep you in check, because sometimes this is the truth. You don't realize you're going off course. So you have to have people in your life that get you and that see you and that will love you enough to say, hey, you get ready to go right into that ditch if you don't move over, if you don't do something different. So releasing shame has caused me to feel freedom that, to be honest, I didn't realize I had until I woke up this morning in a worship. I was like, wow, it's out. The secrets are out. I don't have any more, I don't have nothing to tell. It's like it's out there now. It's like, hey, it's done now. You can judge me if you want, but I no longer walk in shame because I did all the judging for myself. I told you I was my own enemy. And I have chosen not to be my own enemy. And so I want you to choose not to be your own enemy, not to self-sabotage yourself, not to self-sabotage the purpose that God has given you, the vision that He's given you for your life, the goals and the dreams that He's given you for your life. He's giving you a goal. He's giving you a vision for your future. He is giving you a strategy. He's already spoke those things to you. It's just up to you to do it. Get you some people around you that will be truthful with you. Get you some people around you that will check you and provoke you. Get you some people around you that will charge you forth. Get you some cheerleaders around you that will cheer you on and tell you, girl, you can do it. Get you some people that will FaceTime you and tell you, girl, you got your makeup on, you cute. Like Dr. Zoe and Rosalind did for me today. Girl, you looking good. Oh, okay. I forgot. Oh, shoot. Watch out that now. You know? And I'm telling you, freedom feels good. And here's the thing. I've been talking, and I think this is the last thing I'm going to say because I'm so stirred. I'm so serious. But here's the last thing I'm going to say. On your journey, be okay with owning your feelings. Be okay with allowing yourself to feel. I can't tell. I've been making some random posts the last few months, and some of the people that have inboxed me and told me how what I've said blessed them have said that they were hurting, but they were just trying to pretend like it never happened. That's counterproductive to your healing. Own it, feel it, walk into it, cry, whatever you need to do, because you deserve to be free. Thank you, Robbie, for the free word. Thank you. You deserve to be free. You deserve to be happy. You deserve to experience the true joy of the Lord. You deserve to be whole. Thank you. You deserve to be whole, body, mind, soul, and spirit. You deserve that. And so this is the result. I am the result of several things. I am the result of a long suffering God and a loving God and a patient God and a miracle working God. I am also the result of good counseling and good therapy. I am also the result of good friends and people who love me and people who check me and people who tell me the truth whether I want to hear it or not. And you need those things. You need all the things, you need them. But you also need to be a result of you making a choice that I am going to walk in freedom, that I'm no longer going to walk in shame, that I'm longer going to walk in condemnation, that I'm no longer going to walk in bondage, because Christ died to make me free. And if Nicole can get free, I can too. One of my favorite stories in the Bible was when Jesus healed. It's Mark 5. You'll have to go read it for yourself because I'm not going to go through the whole thing. But in Mark 5, yes, because I am the gift. I have been telling people that for about a month now. You are the gift. And thank you, Miss Ann. So that story in Mark 5 is there's a man in the graveyard and he's cutting himself and hurting himself and just thrashing and throwing himself back and forth. And Jesus comes and heals him and sends him home to his people. And in my mind, I'm an author. In my mind, I always wonder, um, what what did he have to really go home to? Jesus told him to go home. He sent him home to live whole and to live his new life of freedom. But what if the home that God sent him back to was the home where he experienced his trauma that sent him to where he was in the first place? What if God healed him to send him back to the people who hurt him to bring those same people deliverance? In my mind, this is what God has done for me. He sent me back from the grave to tell others that God is a mind deliverer. He can deliver your mind. He can heal your mind. He can heal your emotions. He can heal your heart. He can heal your spirit. He can make you free, that you won't be walking in shame and bondage and low self-confidence and low self-worth, wondering, God, when are you going to allow me to die? When God told me my last attempt at suicide, I was in the hospital. And I don't know what I told the doctors. I have no idea what I told them. But I had to spend 15 days there. I had no way to check out. It's like I forgot the name of it, but you no longer have rights. For those 15 days, you have to stay there according to however the law goes. Whatever I told them because I was out of it. God said, and I was so angry. I was so angry at God. When I tell you I was angry, I had nerve enough to be angry at God. Like I was angry. And God said, you're not going to die. So you might as well stop it. Just like that. You're not going to die. So I may be slow catching on, but when God speaks, it's like there's no argument there because who gonna box with God? So even though I was angry and I said, okay, I'll stop, but that don't mean I'm gonna live. And I walked around about 5 to 7 years angry with God. And I said, that don't mean I'm gonna do nothing. I'm here. Now what? What you want me to do? And I literally had an attitude with God. This is why I can testify and tell you that God is long suffering. When I say he's long suffering, he is long suffering. And so, um, and so I'm telling you that to say, God wants you to live. Like sometimes we are living, but we're just breathing. We're just existing. And we're just going through life, waiting on life to happen. Never making a plan, never, thank you, never making a plan for our future, never trying to walk out our goals, never trying to pursue destiny. We just existing. But God said, live. And He didn't tell you to live, Margot, to let you die. He didn't cause you to live for you to not make a difference in this world. See, here's the thing. No matter what lane or no matter what mountain God has called you to, whether it be writing or singing or ministry or whatever He's called you to do, the market is not oversaturated. There's too many billions of people in this world. You're called to somebody. Your voice. That's one thing God told me that really snapped me out of it because I was done. Like, I've been writing since a little girl. And there came a time in my life where I threw all of my writings away, and I had notebooks and notebooks. And anybody who knows me, I keep a journal. I keep one, and I'm always writing. And I had a nice size box of journals. It might have been two, but I know it was a one good box of journals, and I threw them all away. Yeah, I was big mad. Yeah, and so, whatever market God has called you to, whatever atmosphere God has called you to, I want you to remember that it's not oversaturated. Yeah. So, I was not interested in trying to author any books. And God had to sit me down one day and He said, the market is not oversaturated because your voice is assigned to somebody. It may not be assigned to who you think it's assigned to, but it is assigned to somebody. And I don't send my word out that I don't watch over it to perform it. Wait, you talking to me? Like what? Me? I have something to say? Yeah, you. And so I want to share that with you as well. You have something to say. I love to tell people that I'd rather write than talk, but y'all hear me talking on here tonight. I am really talking, and I'm like, really, God, this is amazing. Like, because I don't normally talk this much, but hey, here we are. And so I just want to encourage you um, to live. I want to encourage you to walk in boldness. I love you too. I want to encourage you to walk in your freedom. I want to encourage you to walk in the calling that God has called you to walk. I want to encourage you to dream again. I want to encourage you to begin to seek God and ask God, what is it that you want me to do? Whose life do you want me to impact? What about what part of my testimony do you want me to tell that's going to save somebody from death? Sometimes that death is physical and sometimes it's spiritual. Sometimes it's saving a marriage. Sometimes it could be saving someone from any myriad of things. But you never know who you're saving by telling your story. So let's drop the shame tonight and walk in the boldness of God. Hey, I am Nicole Sharon. I am your overcomer advocate. Listen, my book, The Life of the Overcomer, can be found on Amazon. It is under my name, Nicole Sharon. I love you too. It is under my name, Nicole Sharon. The ebook is there. It was released today. The print copy is there. There's also a journal. But Amazon is taking forever in approving my journal. So it's not been released yet, but it should be in the next couple of days. If you want to order the copy directly from me, you can go ahead and hit me up either by email or you can inbox me. My email address is admin@NicoleSharon.com, or you can just hit me up in my inbox and let me know if you would like a signed copy, which will come with a gift because I like giving gifts. That's just what I do. And so, yeah, however you want to get it, just get that copy and allow it to bless you. Allow God to bring freedom to you because that is my whole goal. He brought me out so that I can minister to somebody, so that God can bring deliverance to him, to them, and God gets all the glory. This is the last thing I'm gonna say. About 3 years ago. So, one of my practices, I'm going to share this with y'all because I share it with everybody. One of my practices is I tell people all the time, take you 5 to 10 minutes and get before God, quiet, with a pen and a paper, and write down what He tells you. And I began to make that a practice several years ago. Several years ago, I was driving and God said, turn your video on and prophesy to yourself. Hey, Miss Denise. He told me to turn the video on. I said, Lord, you know I don't like videos. And I was like, well, maybe this is not the Lord. Maybe this is just me being extra. And so I kept driving and I heard it like so clear as if somebody was sitting in the car with me. So I was like, I'm scrambling now. I'm like, hit the video because, I'm on a I had to go drive about an hour and a half to another location to work. So I had a good hour ahead of me. So I had time. And so I hit the camera and I turn and he just starts talking to me and he says, "Daughter," and I just started repeating whatever I heard come to my mind. And one of the things that he told me, he said, "I have created you to be a conduit of my glory." And that's significant for me because I thought after my past, there was no way that God could use me. I thought, since a little girl, I've been in church and I've always heard about pleasing God and making God proud and things of that nature. And I always thought that could never be me because of the way I've lived and the things that I've done and the things that have happened to me. That could never be me. There's nothing about me that says making God proud. And so when you decipher what being a conduit means, it means He's going to work through you to bring Him glory, which means I'm going to be making Him proud. So I'm telling you that God has anointed you with no matter what you have went through, He has brought you through that thing to be a conduit of His glory, to make Him proud, to share your story, to minister to others, to bring them out of the grave. That's all I have to say because, yeah, that's all. I love you all so much. Thank y'all all so much for coming and celebrating with me. I'm so excited about my third book release. I'm so excited, y'all. I'm so excited about what God is doing. I am excited about what God is about to do. My Cash App is in Sharon A. That's in SHARONA, dollar sign, of course, in Sharon A. That's my Cash App. Thanks for asking. Um, so yes, that is what I want. That's what God laid on my heart to share tonight. I love you too, Miss Denise. I miss you. Um, yes, and so my goal and my vision is to see you walk in freedom and walk in wholeness, y'all. And freedom is not about perfection, but it's about the striving. Remember what Paul says, I press. He didn't say I was perfect. He didn't say I got it all together. He said I press. And I have a press in my spirit, y'all. Like I needed to get this book out. I needed to obey God. It should, listen, here's the truth of the whole matter. And this is a testament. I'm telling you this because this is a testament of how faithful God is. 6 years. It should not take anybody 6 years to obey God. But God knew He had to take me through a healing process. He had to take me through a healing process because at one time I did stop and say, God, I can't do this. I can't write this. I cannot do this. And so, but God, in all His grace and mercy, He put people in my life to minister to me. He put therapists in my life that know God and that minister to me and was able to help me work through certain parts of the trauma that I had experienced that I hadn't even realized that I needed healing in. And so, um, so yeah, God is gracious. God is gracious, y'all. He's so good. And if nothing else, I just want you to be empowered. I want you to be empowered to go forth. I want you to be empowered to walk in victory. I want you to be empowered to walk in boldness. Now, if you have any questions, you can go ahead and put them in the chat, or else uh, I have been talking for 45 minutes, y'all. Who'd have thunk it? uh, but yes, I am done. I am done talking. I'm so excited. I'm so thankful to God for His love and His grace and His mercy, and I'm so excited for His goodness. And I am so excited for freedom, and I am so excited that I kicked shame out. He is no longer a bedfellow in my life. He is no longer a companion. So I love you all so much. Thank you all for celebrating with me. Go get the book, and I pray that it blesses you when you get it. I love you all so much. God bless you. Y'all have a great night.